What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today, I want to talk about the first big signing of the Chicago Bears in the 2023 NFL free agency in TJ Edwards in today's Film Room episode. The Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles started off the offseason, I think, on the right foot. The new league year is about to begin, but the legal tampering phase has started now. The Chicago Bears started off their free agency with signing linebacker TJ Edwards, former baller from the Philadelphia Eagles, to a 3-year deal. Just to get the contract details out of the way right away, he got a, like I said, 3-year deal over $19.5 million and $12 million guaranteed. And man, I think this is an absolute humongous steal by the Chicago Bears to start off this free agency. TJ Edwards is a 6'1", 242-pound linebacker, former player at Wisconsin, so there's a bit of a connection with Jack Sanborn there obviously as well. Is 26 years old at the moment, but will turn 27 in August, so he will play here in Chicago until he is 30. I think this is a massive get for the Chicago Bears, especially after losing Roquan Smith last season. Now, is he Roquan Smith? No, I think he is not, but I think TJ Edwards is also not that far away than maybe some people think, and you got him for an absolute bargain deal. For his stats in 2022, real quick, he played in all 17 games, started all 17 of those, was the middle linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, the guy that gives up the calls to the entire team. In that season, had 159 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, and 7 pass deflections with a fumble recovery, and was just an absolute baller. And let me tell you that right away, he was so much fun looking at his tape. So for today's Film Room episode, we want to categorize him in coverage and run stuffing ability, right? So him against the pass and him against the run, how he does. And I just want to tell you guys how he fits into the Bears' Matt Eberflus defense, because he's, in my opinion, a perfect fit for the Mike linebacker position in the Bears system. But with that being said, I don't want to waste any more time. So excited to talk about TJ Edwards right now. So let's get right into it and start off with today's Film Room. And overall for TJ Edwards' coverage skills, what can I say after watching tons of tape by now? I mean, there was just a little amount of time, but I spent the last couple of hours, 2.5 hours watching his game tape. I think overall what I love with him in the passing game is, first of all, his eyes and his feet. They match together. They don't do different things at the same time, right? He always has patient eyes. Also, the closing speed is absolutely phenomenal in the passing game. A very fluid mover, agile hips in the movements as well, and then just such a smart player as well, recognizes things so fast, reacts to it, does have great angles in the passing game as well to close out this the gap real quick as well. And then just overall a very safe tackler as well. We will see that in the run defense category as well today. But I mean, when we look at his tape, there was one incredible play against the Minnesota Vikings where they had a play action play and Dalvin Cook was going into the flats as just the security, right, as a check down right there for Kirk Cousins. And as soon as the ball was out of the air, or in the air actually, TJ Edwards triggered, just got into his second gear and then moved up to Dalvin Cook and just absolutely smashed him. Just the closing speed is so incredible with TJ Edwards. It really pops off in tape. And once again, just trusting his eyes, being fast with it, and reacting to certain situations in a very good way. Another example would be another play against the Vikings, this time against Irv Smith. Very good young tight end in there. He ran a 5-and-in, and he just was absolutely locked down on that route, just looked at his hips, read it perfectly, flipped his hips, got some closing speed, and then just made the pass breakup, got his hands in there. And then another situation pretty similar to this one as well, this time against the Steelers, against Pat Freiermuth, looked very good in coverage once again. Not a 5-and-in by Freiermuth that time, but a 5-and-out, or just like a sit. where he just, once again, TJ Edwards reads the eyes of the quarterback, gets in there and almost runs the route for Freiermuth. I think he didn't even turn around, and TJ Edwards was already there and almost intercepted that football. But once again, getting his hands in there as well. So very good ball skills, I think, overall for TJ Edwards as well. Or it's at least a very underrated part of his game. Then another really big aspect of his game, screen game and quick passes, man. This guy absolutely demolishes and eats damn screens for breakfast. It was absolutely phenomenal what he did against the screen game. There was one example against Washington where they tried a quick screen, which is just a now screen to the outside receiver, and that one it was, I think, Jahan Dotson, and then the line moves out and is your front blocker, right? All the three guys, left tackle, left guard, center, went out, tried to block him, and TJ Edwards just read it so fast, just ran in there, great range, showed his range, which is absolutely phenomenal, and then just the three linemen haven't even turned a route yet, and he was already at Jahan Dotson's hips and wrapping him up. So phenomenal stuff against the screen game. Absolutely crazy. Another example would be a swing screen against the Colts, where he just absolutely flies on the field and reacts to JT's route, Jonathan Taylor's route, and just turns it into a 4-yard loss, right? Swing screen, you got three blockers. TJ Edwards is the only guy that's free, so he is he should make the tackle, right, in that situation, and he absolutely does with great closing speed and fast reaction time once again. Then also against the Giants, beautiful mesh concept they tried against the Eagles in that situation, which is just from the two inside receivers, you got like that small little shallow crosses or drag routes, and then over the top behind those two guys, you got a sit route, OTB route over the center, and TJ Edwards didn't get lost in that because that can be confusing, that play, to some players, but definitely didn't get lost with his eyes in this, within the traffic, stayed with the quarterback's eyes, and then a big pass breakup, perfectly played on that OTB route. Phenomenal stuff right there. And then some similar stuff against the Steelers once again as well. Pat Freiermuth ran just a out and up go route, right? And TJ Edwards stayed in his middle zone, stayed with his assignment, was patient in that pocket or in his zone, right? Looked at the quarterback's eyes. Kenny Pickett tried to lob it over him, but then TJ Edwards also showing some athleticism right there. Jumps up, tips the ball, which was thrown pretty high in that situation as well, so props to him in that situation too, and just made a phenomenal play on the ball right there. And then also, lastly, his ability to attack the quarterback, I think, is pretty damn good as well. Showed it. He got some pass rush snaps, especially from the linebacker spot, just overpowering the offensive line, right? They tried to do that against, I think, once again, the Washington Commanders, and got a pass rush snap. And he is not a phenomenal pass rusher, and obviously I don't expect him to do that because he's a Mike linebacker, right? He's not an edge rusher, but he did a pretty good job just showing his relentless motor, which shows up on tape the entire time, and then just didn't beat him with his initial move, but then spun out of the block and then got Carson Wentz down for a sack. So it's just things like that that absolutely stand out. And I think he's overall a phenomenal player in pass coverage. He definitely also has his flaws. Don't want to hide that from anybody, but overall, I think he's an incredible player with just a huge trigger step. As soon as he sees something, he's so decisive with it, and then just a very secure tackler, very fluid mover, and just an absolute beast in pass coverage. And with that, that finishes off the first category, him against the pass. And now we want to move on to category 2 that we want to look at today, which is him as a run stuffer. And I think overall, when you look at TJ Edwards' tape, it's pretty similar to the past stuff that pops out in your mind. Overall, just once again, very instinctive player against the run, just like he is against the pass. His tackling and block shedding ability even is very good for a linebacker. Really love what I saw on tape right there. Also, never or almost never gets fooled by his eyes or with his eyes against motions or pull blocks, whatever it is. Very patient with the eyes, once again, against the run as well. And then just his ability as well to, once again, block shed, but also slip by blockers, which was pretty impressive as well. And then also, once again, just a total relentless motor. Whatever happens, he is trying to get to the football, which just perfectly fits the mentality of Matt Eberflus and Alan Williams' defense. I mean, for some examples, there was a beautiful run stuff against the Vikings where they pulled the guard on a wide zone play and Cook tried to cut back, and then TJ Edwards just showing that ability to shed blocks against their tight end, shedded the block and then made a very beautiful tackle on the play. Also, another one against the Jacksonville Jaguars where it was another outside zone play, and this time showed his play recognition, reacted fast, shot through the gap, very decisive once again. As soon as he sees something, he doesn't get fooled by his eyes, and then he's decisive, runs through the gap, and just once again, very great tackle, safe tackle to get or minimize the yards by the offense, which was absolutely beautiful. Another beautiful run against run stop, against the Dallas Cowboys, where they try to pitch to Ezekiel Elliott, just basically slip by the guard without losing any distance to the running back, which is such a great ability as well. And then just chasing him out of bounds, never letting him go upfield as well. Phenomenal stuff right there against the run by TJ Edwards. Against the Cardinals, really displayed some range and speed and decisiveness as well. Once again, outside zone, really looked amazing against outside zone, honestly. He was playing against Eno Benjamin, which is a super fast and slippery running back for the Cardinals, and they're just, once again, showed decisiveness and trusted his eyes, didn't let himself fool himself, and then just the range and closing speed again against a very fast running back, held him to 5 yards, which is such an impressive play, and just a perfect wrap-up tackling as well right there in that situation. Bears had some tackling issues in the past, but he's not one of those guys. He will definitely make sure that a guy gets on the ground. And then also against the quarterback runs, which is another aspect. He looked really good as well. One against the Saints where he played Taysom Hill, who's obviously known for his running ability. They had a stack box, the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody was accounted for, an offensive lineman. And then basically TJ Edwards was the guy that should make the tackle in that situation. And then once again, shifts into the gear, shoots downhill, and then just tackles the legs for or off Taysom Hill, which was phenomenal. A great play once again as well, just very secure tackle, and once again, recognizing the play, shooting downhill, and just making a great play on the football. And then another one, not really a design quarterback run, which the Taysom Hill one was, but also against scrambles, he looked pretty good as well. One example that comes to mind is definitely one against Washington, where Carson Wentz was about to scramble. He was in coverage, looked really patient in coverage, but had once again his eyes on the quarterback the entire time, read the play, recognized the scramble fast, triggered, and then just stops the play early for only 2 yards coming off of his zone, which was a great play once again as well. And I think overall for his run game ability, or his ability against the run, he's a very good player that, like I said, very decisive. I'm repeating myself a lot, but it's just true. Like, he's really good with his eyes. His trigger step is so good. He's so fast down the line. He can fly on the entire field, and then just is such a smart player overall as well. And with that being said, that finishes off category 2 against the run. And with that, just for a quick little conclusion, overall, I think TJ Edwards is a fire, absolutely 100% A+ signing by Ryan Poles to sort out this free agency. It's not a lot of money for a player that was absolutely phenomenal on probably the best defense in the league last year. He was their Mike linebacker, right? The captain, or the leader, not the captain, but the leader of that defense that had to get into calls, had to be right at all times, mentally prepared for every single situation. And when you look at his tape, the guy looked like he was prepared perfectly for every single situation. So, like I said, against the pass, looked phenomenal, very fluid, closing speed is insane, and what really pops out is just his play recognition combined with his athleticism and tackling ability. So excited. He definitely fits in as a Mike linebacker right away for the Chicago Bears. Huge get for 3 years for a very cheap deal. Get your starting Mike, which is a very important position still in any defense in the NFL, right? And I think also personality-wise, from a player, how he looked is just such a perfect fit for Matt Eberflus and Alan Williams. But with that being said, that's the end of the episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of the signing of TJ Edwards to the Chicago Bears. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.